wow.
Oh, that's an Audi
Q8.
Yeah.
One fella bought it, right? This car and our car have one thing in common.
Yeah, only one.
Only one thing.
Yeah.
The adjustment of steering is manual.
Autophiles.
In a Hyundai Elantra again after 1 year.
Yeah.
I remember we drove the Elantra Sport.
Wow, 1.6 turbo.
We liked it, no?
Oh, I love it.
But anyway, this car, I remember I noted in that review that the naturally aspirated version was what I was impressed with.
Oh, you like the natural? Yeah, I remember.
This one, the pre-facelift, impressed me for two things. One, there was no gimmicks. Second thing was, I felt the build quality in here, even though it's not groundbreaking, like I would say better than Japanese typically deliver.
Sometimes, because sometimes the Japanese can really screw up in the build quality department nowadays.
The whole Sights and Sound series was started because of this car.
Oh wow!
The Elantra,
yeah, I remember you told me it started because of Elantra, Hyundai Elantra.
Yeah, the pre-facelift.
Yes. Pre-facelift normal, as naturally aspirated version.
There's nothing else to talk about, but the build quality is so damn good. And overall it's just a decent car, well put together. And there's one more thing, like a lot of the small things, like that multi-info display, the information that is shown there, like the range permanently on top, how long you've been driving, fuel consumption, and how far you've gone.
All crammed into like a 3" by 2".
That's all you need. That's what the information I look for when I'm on a highway drive. A lot of boiling down things to very simple form and just giving it to you. No gimmicks. This infotainment unit,
it works.
It works. Auxiliary.
It's in the right position.
Yeah.
This is a very competent all-round vehicle, from looks to drive to engine to performance to safety. So my first impression is, wow, Korea is becoming strong. First, I saw the car. I have to say, very handsome. Very outstanding. Striking. You're right.
People I've seen that look at the car, say, oh, can see their face like, what the hell is that?
What is that?
Then they see Hyundai, they look away. They feel shame.
It's so sad, isn't it?
It's quite sad. Yeah.
The only thing that comes to my mind other than the fact that wow, it looks outstanding, is that it's a car, lor.
It's a car.
I mean, it does a lot of things without mistakes. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, that depends on value and the value proposition that you're looking at. So let's talk about performance. This is a 1.2
liter.
Oh, 2 liter.
2 liter MPI engine. We've driven this engine in so many other cars.
Multi-point injection.
But it's not impressive numbers. It's 192 Newton meters at top.
Okay.
About 150 plus.
Standard tuning.
Very standard tuning. We experienced it in the Tucson and all that. I drove it JB, KL, JB.
Yeah.
It's okay lah. When I needed power,
no complaint.
And I drove it with 4 people in the car.
I have to give it some compliments. We've been driving, we've been doing Autophiles for so many years. We've driven so many Korean cars, and Korean cars have a characteristic roughness to its engine. I don't know why lah. It's just a bit rougher lah. Unlike Nissan. Nissan is famous for very smooth engine, but Korean is just a bit rough lah. I don't know why lah. Don't ask me why. But it is not apparent here. It is actually quite smooth until
you press.
Yes, until you press it, then the Koreanness is there. Anything before 3000 plus 3005 is very tolerable. It's very smooth actually, and the gearbox is just fine. That's the best part. It wasn't some funky doing twin clutch.
No, standard 6-speed automatic.
There you go. That's what you need. In a normal car. Very competent, very good tuning. Performance, I have no complaint, and I have a compliment.
Which is the engine is a bit more refined.
A bit more refined now. It's not like a barge lah. Basically, it doesn't handle like a barge.
And even though it's a torsion beam suspension, very good.
Only the torsion beam only shows itself when you're flying through a bump a little bit faster than you ought to. Then only you will feel. Legroom is okay.
My grandmother was in the back. She was like, immediately her comment was, "This car is very comfortable." She's been driven in like Subaru XV, the rear. Few Mercedes. She's been driven in the freaking Maybach. The steering wheel is one of my favorite steering wheels I've ever used in a car.
Quite good.
Mazda was quite good.
Mazda is very good.
The soft feel, the size, everything about the Mazda steering wheel is good. But the Mazda steering wheel makes you want to zoom a little bit. This one, genuinely puts you in a very relaxed feel.
Correct.
It's so thick.
Yeah.
The material and the sponginess around it, you know, and the contour for your hands. I was sitting like this 9 to 3, you know, both my hands on the steering wheel, going and coming back from JB with no complaints.
Wow.
Because the thing was just so soft.
3.8. I mean, if I'm generous, I'll give it a 4 lah. But I'm not that generous today lah, so I'll give it a 3.8 lah. Very good for daily use. It's everything you need lah.
Design?
Oh yeah, design. It was outstandingly handsome. I mean, proportion-wise, I think they have to make do with the fact that the C7 ought to be give you a certain amount of space, so they are constrained in that sense. But I think the new look is very, very
distinct,
clean.
Clean.
Yeah, almost like a concept car. It has very sharp lines, very clean surface. Not like previous Hyundai with a lot of creases.
And the pre-facelift was genuinely, to me, a little bit boring, a little bit too conservative.
Okay.
This one, even though it's a facelift, it looks like an all-new car.
Yeah, it looks like an all-new car completely. But industry-wise, from my experience, tells me when they facelift something and they completely change it,
it means the previous one was a failure.
it means it wasn't selling.
This one, at least, it gives you something to talk about, something to, like, you know, after you park your car, you can look at it and say, okay lah, I bought something that is interesting. It has that Audi image of being very professional, very sharp looking.
On the inside, on the other hand, is a different story. It's very conservative.
Yeah, the inside is essentially
the same thing.
Not 100%, but like 90% the same.
Okay.
So like this carbon fiber trim
I felt was a bit unnecessary.
It's a bit unnecessary because the car is not sporty.
Yeah, and the carbon fiber trim in the
speedometer is
it's a bit odd lah.
And there's this also lah, the manual handbrake, because the exterior looks ultra modern, you know. Then you step inside, it's like
the exterior is slightly beyond modern, you know. It's like 2 years avant-garde.
In the future,
2 years avant-garde, but then it's like
you go inside here, it's like, oh, it's a little bit.
Inside here is like the 2012.
And there's nothing in the design that attracts your attention to anything. It's just
not attractive.
It's there. You know, it's not a mistake. It's not bad. It's just there. So I think the interior you might feel is a bit dull.
Looks wise, I still have to give it a 3 lah. A 3 because pulled down by the interior lah. Value. Alright, let's play
guess the price. I was asked to guess the price by my grandmother, and then I was thinking, how much is a C segment car?
Because a C7 car should be around 110 to 130.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. So I was like, okay, Hyundai usually don't overcharge for their cars, like they don't overprice lah most of the time. So I said, I guess lah. I told them 120 lah. Then I went home and I checked. And
115.
No, not even 110. 109.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh, that's good value.
It's very good value.
I just have some small problem. It's not with this car. I mean, this car itself, in terms of pricing, 109, spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. It's just one problem. 1,100. You can get an X70.
Yeah. I tell you what very, very niche market this has over the X70. Say you hate Proton image, which is a
lot of people hate. Still hate
because
Proton.
It does represent something wrong in our industry.
Yeah, because it represents everything wrong in our industry in the past, and then it represents colonization by China currently.
Very neo colonization by China. So you might not really want to be seen in an X70. That's one thing. Another thing is, let's say you want a car that you just want to buy and run for 7, 8, maybe even 10 years. And this car has no gimmicks that will age the car, you know. There's no voice control, there's no digital instrument cluster, which the resolution will look pathetic in 5 years. It has everything which is basically car, you know.
It's a car.
And I have a lot of friends who bought, in fact one family member and 2 or 3 friends who bought the Kia Forte in 2011 and to this day run it and say, I have no reason to change the car. This car has that same feel. It won't sell to that extent. If you're looking for a Forte replacement just because it is just too old now, maybe it's 8, 9 years and you're like, okay, you know, I'm stretching it too much, and you don't like what Kia is offering, you might think like, you know, this is exactly what I want. Doesn't draw too much attention and doesn't have any gimmicks. Because I was driving the X70 also and the infotainment just restarted by itself.
I see. So it's quite complicated lah.
It's complicated, and you know, I don't want to have cars with these kind of things.
Simple cars nowadays, the idea is good, but then all of us will be captured by the gimmick, isn't it? All of us will like, wow, X70, look at this panel here. Value, actually value is amazing. It's just a Proton X70.
That's the thing.
It's hanging over your head. But you know, we saw quite a few Hyundais, right? As we were driving around just now. I saw another one, the Hyundai Tucson. Yeah. They do sell a few cars here and there.
They do. I think there is an appeal.
I'm quite impressed with Hyundai and Kia in the past 5 years especially. They've really bucked up.
Every single Kia and Hyundai we drove, except maybe the Tucson pre-facelift. Besides that, everything has been a very positive review.
Yeah, they're quite good, man.
They are cars of substance.
I don't know why Malaysians don't want to give Korean cars a chance. You look at the youngsters now, everyone's a BTS lah, Blackpink lah.
Yeah,
you know, you can love Korea. I grew up in the 80s, man. Korea was yo. You know, Malaysia was less shit than Korea at that time. And now Korea is like so hard. I'm objective with what they're giving me. Of course, I still have complaints, but it's not as bad as you think, man.
Honestly, if I'm going to buy a conservative, non-national car, I would think Korean first before Japanese.
Yeah, this car, I would say it's very good value.
Yeah.
It's everything you need in a car. So, you know, if you are the type of person who doesn't want gimmick, and I'm a person who doesn't want gimmick.
Same here.
And you are okay with a transport that gets you from point A to point B and does what it does, and you don't want a SUV, let's say,
then maybe you want to look at this.
Yeah, it's very competent, man. I would give it an overall. I'm not feeling very generous today, so I'll give it a 3.8 out of 5. But
you want to give it a 4, but you can't.
Because the problem with the 4, it's called excellent.
Yeah.
And excellent, it is not, because it's a run-of-the-mill vehicle. It's a car. You know, that's what it is. It's a car.
Yeah.
So I cannot give it a 4 because the 4 deserves something outstanding, right?
And yeah, it's not outstanding, it's just really, really good.
It's just really, really good.
Autophiles
signing out of Hyundai Elantra. You look at the way we do protest. We go out there, we turn it into a pesta. We play music, we chant, and sudah makan. You know, the only birthday I remember that I almost arrested was birthday 2. But then one uncle that opened a beef noodle shop was kind enough to open the shutter way over here. Then eventually everybody inside pretend to be eating.
one Hindu guy there.